Hey everyone, Amy here. If you're just getting started with Groovepages or haven't logged into Groovepages for a while and need a refresher, then this video is for you. I just want to do a quick shout out to everyone who upgraded to Lifetime through my link. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart because your support keeps this channel alive and helps everyone out as well. Now, if you signed up to Groove using my links in the description area below, this training is already in the members area for you and it's broken down into bite-sized videos for easy consumption, along with your other bonuses as well. In this Groovepages tutorial for beginners, I'm going to give you a complete walkthrough of Groovepages and how to navigate the interface since their updates. Now, this video is intense, so please make use of the timestamps below this video in my pinned comment because some of the things I'm about to go through you may already know, and you might want to jump to the parts that you don't know. Now, before we begin, please like this video to show your support because it took me ages to create this one video for you. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay, when you're logged into Groovepages, you want to head here and click on New Site. Up top in these tabs, you will see templates for single pages, complete site templates, funnel templates, webinar templates. My templates are your own personal templates that you saved. I'll show you how to do that later on. Heading back to single pages, you can sort these templates by category or clicking on any of these tags. So you might just want a template on lead generation. These are the templates available for you. Now, I'm going to go through this walkthrough on my Lifetime account, and there will be some features that free account users may not have access to. For example, on your free account, you still get access to some templates, but most of these templates will have a premium badge on it, which means you need to upgrade. But don't let that stop you from creating your own websites and funnels, okay? Personally, a tip here is I would sketch out a wireframe, i.e. a page layout first on pen and paper, and then I can go down here, I'll untick lead generation, and then I'll just scan the different types of templates that have a similar layout like my wireframe to save time on styling and formatting. Let's click on complete sites and choose the Multi-Course Academy website as a template. Click select. Give this a name and click on start building. The website template has loaded, but first I want to show you global site settings because it's often forgotten but necessary. Head down here to settings. Click on site settings. For business or website name, this is the name of your Groovepages project so that when you log back into Groovepages, you can just search for the name. For example, if you are logged back into Groovepages and you type in Amy in this search box, it will show you your Groovepages projects. Your Favicon is the icon that is associated with your website. For example, if I go to amyvo.com, you see this icon over here, that's your Favicon. To change your Favicon, click on choose image, click on upload image. I'll select this, click open. To upload your image, you need to click on this up arrow and you will do that to any image that you upload on Groovepages. That will upload it to the server. Once it's finished uploading, there will be this pink outline around the image. That means it's selected. And you can reduce the image size by 50 if you wanted to. That's how you update images, by clicking update dimensions, then click on select. Under font, this is the global font settings that you can set as default for your website. If you click on the drop down arrow here, you will see all the available fonts that you can choose from. Let's say you choose Poppins, for example. This means that every time you drag in a text element, that font is preset to Poppins for you as a default. Under custom CSS, CSS stands for cascading style sheets. It's where you add a bit of code to set a specific style for your website's layout, borders, colors, fonts, etc. If you're a website developer or designer, go crazy here and add your own CSS. Under code includes tracking GA. This is where you can add your Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, or any ad tracking codes. Let's say you want to add Google Analytics. Google Analytics will give you a global site tag, which is a bit of code that you need to paste in the head section of your website. I've just opened up my Google Analytics, and this this is the global site tag that you need to paste. Just highlight all of that, head back to your Groovepages, and you paste it all in here. Now, if you have tracking codes that ask you to paste the code before the body or include it in the bottom of your page, you would paste those codes in the relevant boxes here. Any code that you add in global site settings, which is here, it will cover all pages in your website. So adding Google Analytics in site settings will track all pages in your entire Groovepages project. Scrolling down, you have Open Graph, which is social share settings. Open Graph allows you to control how your links are displayed on social media like Facebook. If you were to share your website link, you want to control the image attached to the website, right? You do this via the OG image. You will click on Choose Image. The dimensions for OG images is 1200 pixels by 627 pixels. Upload an image and choose this one. Click on Open. Click on the up arrow, select, set the title that you want to be shown when you share your link. My title can be Amy Vo Academy. Once you're done completing your site settings, click on this pink check button every time you make a change, okay? And then you will see content save. Once that's appeared, you can click on the back arrow. Next in settings is export site. So to download your HTML code of all the pages in your entire Groovepages site, you will click on Export Site. That's going to open up a new tab and automatically download a zip file. I've unzipped the file and you can see all the HTML files for each page on your website. Revisions show you a timestamp of any previous changes you make. Click on that. You can see all the timestamps here. For example, if you made a mistake and prefer the way your website looked previously, just find the timestamp, hover over it, this eye icon will appear and it will load the version of your website. And if that's correct, you can click on Use this version. It will revert the website back to that point in time. Next is Share Site. So share sites are basically share funnels. Once you finish designing your website, if you like to share your website or funnel with another Groove user, you will click on Share Site, click on Add. That's going to generate a share funnel link for you and send that link via email to the person you want to share it with. Now that person needs to be logged into their Groove account, and once they paste that code into their browser, it will clone that site into their Groovepages. A tip here is to make sure you publish your site first so that your share funnel link works. For Instant Edit Bookmark, this is a bookmark code that is provided by Groove so that you can edit your Groovepages on the fly. I'm not going to show you how to do this because when you click on it, it opens another tab which shows you how to add the code to your bookmark and use it. We'll head back to Groovepages. Let's move on to Pages. And Pages is this icon here. Click on it. You're going to see all the pages in your website here. And when it's highlighted in pink, the corresponding page will appear on your canvas right here. If I click on Course Page, it's going to load that page. Then I'll need to go back here and go to the page that I want to edit. To edit your page name, URL, title, and keywords, click on the three dots, Edit Settings. For page name, that's just the page name on Groovepages for your reference. Page URL, that's the URL of that particular page. For example, I can change this URL from page-2 to amy-vo-courses. This means that the final page URL will be yourdomain.com/amy-vo-courses. Page title is the title tag for SEO. For example, if you search Mike Vilsame in Google, this here is the page meta title. And page title is where you add your meta title. I'm going to add Amy Vo Courses. You will keep this under 60 characters. Any more than 60 characters and Google will cut off your title. For meta keywords, it's like keyword tags for SEO, and you would enter in your page keywords separated by commas like this. Scrolling down in meta description, this is your page's description for SEO. Going back to our example, this here is the meta description. So you want to keep this under 155 characters. A tip is to go to a website called lettercount.com. Type in your description over here and click count characters. That's going to show me that it's 146 characters, which is fine. I do recommend that you use all 155 characters. Once you're happy with that, copy that, go here and paste it in the meta description area. In Exit Page by Confirmation, if you toggle this to the right, the visitor will get a confirmation message before leaving the page. Now, I personally don't need to do that, so I'm just gonna untoggle that and leave it as is. Under font, you can also set the default font for this particular page. So on global site settings, we set the font to Poppins, but you can also set a default font for this page too, besides using Poppins. It's entirely up to you. In custom CSS, because this was a template, it's already loaded some custom CSS from the template. Going down to code includes tracking GA. Because you already added your Google Analytics over in site settings, it covers this page. But let's pretend that this is a thank you or a confirmation page. You might want to add any ad conversion tracking codes in this section, and this is the place to do it. You will place those conversion tracking codes on your thank you page or order confirmation page. Scrolling down to Open Graph Social Settings, you can also add specific OG images and OG titles for this specific page. Remember to click on the check icon to save this page as well. If you want to set a specific page as a home page, besides this particular home page, you would click on the three dots, and the other pages will have the option of setting a specific page as a home page. So you can set this as a home page or set this as a home page. But you'll notice under home, you can't set that as a home page because it's already set to home. To rename a page, you will click on the three dots, click on rename. I can name this page all courses, click on the check icon. To clone and delete pages, clicking on these three dots, clone, that's going to duplicate everything on that page. The clone page appears as the same name but with the word copy added to it. I will click on the three dots, rename that, and let's just call it order confirmation for example. Click on the check icon. To delete a page, click on the page that you want to delete, three dots, and you will go down and click delete. And let's say that you finish designing and styling this particular page and you want to save it as a template. You will go to these three dots, click on save as template, wait until the content save green alert has appeared for confirmation that your page is saved as a template. All your templates will be saved under my templates. So you will click on this plus button, go to my templates, and the Help Center page that we just saved has appeared. Your page templates can also appear when you click on New Site and click on My Templates tab. The Help Center page template appears here as well. For hiding pages from the menu navigation, if I click on the three dots, you will see the option of Hide from Navigation. For example, I can go to Blocks, scroll down, Headers Nav menu, and drag this menu up on the top. I'll just collapse this and you see how all the pages appear in the menu. Let's say you want to hide the home page from the menu. All you need to do is go to Pages, click on the three dots, Hide from Menu Navigation. This does two things. This page will now appear under the Hidden Pages section. And over in the canvas, if we scroll over, the home page no longer appears in the menu. So hiding any pages from the menu can be done by simply dragging that page down to the hidden section. Or if you don't want to hide that page, just hover over these six dots and then drag it back into the order that you want it to be in. Now the home page has reappeared on the menu. To add a new page to your website, just go up here and click on this plus icon. You can start from scratch or use any of the pre-designed templates as your page. Personally, I like to clone an existing page instead of adding a new page. Now, one last thing I forgot to show you, when you click on that plus button, you also have the URL importer. This is for when you own a website or a page from a funnel builder like ClickFunnels, Kartra. Let's say you want to clone groove.cm, copy entire page. What you notice is that they ask you to place this code on your website to prove ownership. Now, if that is your website, go ahead and paste that code. But what I noticed is that it may not import all your content exactly the way it looks like, and you may have to fix certain elements to make it look like the way you intended. My recommendation is just to rebuild it on Groovepages for less headaches, and you can build better looking pages anyway. I'll just cancel out of that. When it comes to moving pages to the funnels tab, let's go back to all courses, 3 dots again. If you are an upgraded or lifetime customer, you will get more options in these settings. So free account users won't have access to moving a specific page to the funnels tab. As you can see here, I can move the all courses page to the masterclass funnel. In the funnels tab over here, I've got a masterclass funnel. Right now, Groove is in the process of separating out the funnels tab. So if you go to the icon up here, you will notice Groove Funnels as a separate app, which means in the future, you might not see this funnels tab available. I'm not entirely sure when that will happen, but if you notice that the funnels tab isn't available, you might want to head to this and go to the Groove Funnels app to access all your funnels. What they plan to do is to have all your web pages built within Groovepages, and that Groove Funnels app that you saw here, that will be building any funnels like opt-in funnels, sales funnels. If you go to pages and click on the 3 dots, the option of moving a specific page to a specific funnel is available here for you. For example, let's say for this help center, I'll click on the 3 dots and I want to move it to the masterclass funnel. So we'll click on that. And if I head to funnels, within the masterclass funnel, it was previously 4 pages. Now there's 5 pages. Click on that. That's going to expand all the pages. And you can see the help center page is now within this funnel. You can click on these 3 dots again and move it back to the primary menu navigation. Once you click on that, I'll go back to pages and you can see the help center page is back into the main pages section. Moving over to the funnels tab, which is found here, think of the pages tab for your website pages where you have an about, services, contact us pages. The funnels tab here is where you can create funnels that have multiple pages tied to it. For example, in this masterclass, you can see 4 pages tied to this funnel. And let's say you have an opt-in funnel that could have 2 pages to it, an opt-in page and a thank you page. Creating a funnel is exactly the same as the pages tab. You will click on this plus icon, head to funnels. Let's select this lead magnet template by clicking select. And it might be a bit slow, so you got to wait until all funnel pages have loaded. Once it's all loaded, sometimes the order could be wrong. You would hover over these 6 dots and drag it back up. Like page settings, you can click on these 3 dots. I'll click on edit settings to rename it to opt-in, and I can change this to opt-in as well. Give it a page title of funnel book and click on the check icon. Now that you've finished editing the pages within this particular funnel, click on this back button and you can see that the name is lead magnet funnel. But you can also rename it by clicking edit and calling this an opt-in funnel. Click on this check icon. Now you've got 2 funnels in the funnels tab, and each one of these funnels have their corresponding pages attached to it. Let's move on to the webinars tab. The webinar tab works exactly like the funnels tab, but it's tied to Groove Webinar, which means any pages that you create inside the webinars tab, that's going to be available as a selection when you're setting up Groove Webinar. And I'll cover it in future trainings when I show you how to set up Groove Webinar. Just know for now that this tab is setting Groove Webinar specific pages like your webinar registration page, the replay page, auto thank you, and checkout pages. They're all linked to Groove Webinar, and you can see here that you can select the corresponding pages. So that covers all the pages relating to your pages tab, funnels tab, and your webinars tab. Now it's time to move on to blocks and elements. Once you click on blocks, under block types, there's 3 different types of blocks. You've got designer blocks, direct response, and wireframe blocks. Designer blocks include empty blocks, but mostly pre-designed blocks for different sections of your page. So you can see there are pre-designed blocks for content, countdown timers, lead magnets, etc. For example, you could have a section on your page that has a call to action. These call to action blocks are already pre-designed, or you can have another section of your page that has a form. There are already pre-designed blocks for different types of forms. Each one of these blocks will have color, styling, and elements already added within the block for you, and all you need to do is drag it into the canvas. Let's scroll back up and click on direct response. Direct response blocks are also pre-designed blocks, but they incorporate direct response marketing elements that help you build out your sales and order page. So you can see here you've got a yellow button with secure checkout options over here, and you've got bullet points, guarantee, and an order recap. Last is wireframe blocks. Wireframe blocks still give you access to the different types of blocks, but when you click on them, they're black and white with placeholder text and no styling or colors. So if you're a web designer or a funnel designer, you might want to start with wireframe blocks to plan the layout, the wireframe of your website design before showing the client the final result. To make your life easier, just go to designer blocks, because there are so many pre-designed blocks that just save you time on styling and formatting. For example, you might want a content block that has 2 columns. This particular block is awesome because it already has 2 columns in place for you. All you need to do is hold it and drag it into the row that you want to add it. Just click on this back arrow to expand your canvas. Now, if you notice that the block didn't fall into the right place, click on that block so that there is a red outline around it, and you will know that you're in the block level by going down to the breadcrumb here. Let's say that you're clicking here, you're in the text element. You want to go down here and click on block, so it highlights the whole block and you're in the block level. And I cover breadcrumbs in tip 2 of my 20 Groovepages tips and tricks. Be sure to check out that video when you're done with this video. Once you're in the block level, if you scroll to the right over here, you should see an up arrow or a down arrow. So let's click on up. That will move that particular block up. But if you want to move it down, click on this down arrow. Very quickly, I want to explain the hierarchy and layout of Groovepages, especially how blocks, containers, columns, and elements work in Groovepages, because it's really important to understand this when you're designing out your website or your funnels. Everything starts with a block in Groovepages. In this illustration, the block is in yellow. Inside the block, you have the container, which is in blue. Inside the container, columns, and you can choose between 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 columns if you want to. Columns in Groovepages are referred to as layout. And then inside that layout or column, you have elements. And elements could be text elements, button elements, image elements, or video elements, which is in green. This is the layout and order of how it works in Groovepages. I've already dragged in a block that has an empty container. So you can see here that the block is yellow, the container level is blue, the column is pink, and the heading is an element. So you can see how it resembles the slide I had previously in terms of a layout. And this block was created by going to blocks, empty blocks, dragging in an empty container, and then I went to elements and dragged in 2 columns to create this pink column. And within that pink column, I went to text and dragged in the H1 heading over here. So remember, it's really important to use breadcrumbs, which is why I always click on an element. Then I head down here to the breadcrumb. In this example, you can see the heading is a text element. It's inside the first column of the 2 layout. That layout or column is inside the container, which is in blue, and that blue container is inside the yellow block. Once you finish designing your block, if you like the design of that block, you can save that block as a template for reuse. All you need to do is click on that block. This toolbar will pop up. Click on this star icon, and you can either save that block into an existing category, going down here and selecting the category, or creating your own personal category by clicking on a new category and giving it a name. I can call this category test. Click on create block. Content saved alert has appeared. Now we can go back to blocks, scroll down, and you can see there's a test category. Inside that is my block template that I've just saved. And they're still working on showing the preview image, but that should work when you drag that block into your canvas. To add more columns to an existing block, going back to this particular block and the toolbar, you see this grid icon over here. Click on it. These columns will appear on the top right-hand corner. You can turn this particular block into 3 columns, 4 columns, and 5 columns. I'm just going to revert to my 2 columns, and I did that by clicking on this back button. To clone and delete blocks, you still click on that block again and you will click on this duplicate button. And lastly, this bin button, you're just deleting this block by clicking that and press confirm. To change a block background, color, image, or video, you would make sure that you're in the block level, like down here in the breadcrumb. The styling toolbar will expand and you want to click on background. Once you click on that, you can change the color to any of these pre-existing colors, or you can click here, enter in the hex code, click on the check icon. Because this block has an image over it, this background color won't appear. So if you want that background color to appear, you would delete this particular image here. And uploading the image to a background, click on choose image, upload your own personal image, and then click select. So I'll cancel out of that. For block backgrounds, you always want to have that image on repeat. The size will be cover, and you can choose the alignment of where you want that image. If you want a video in the block background, you will click here in video, toggle this switch over, and it will say, please set background image to. So it will be displayed at first while loading the video if someone has a slow connection speed. What I'm going to do is go back to the color background and just clear the blue background color so that the video comes through. Under select video type, you have the option of selecting Vimeo, Wistia, YouTube, your Groove video library. Just for this example, I'm choosing YouTube. You would need to grab URL of the video, paste it in here, but they only want the video ID. So you will need to go here, delete all that, and your video ID is after the equal sign in the URL. Leave it checked at loop video, mute video is fine, click update. Now my video is a shorts video and I had to film it in vertical, but you would choose more of a horizontal landscape video and add it in the background. Okay, let's talk about elements. And elements are things like text, lists, buttons, media, whatever is available here is an element that you can drag over into your Groovepages. I'm not going to cover every element because we're going to be here for ages. What I want to cover is the main elements that you would use frequently, how to edit them and style those particular elements. Let's start with text elements. In text elements, H1 stands for heading, H2 is a subheading. You would want to incorporate H1, H2, H3 for SEO. What we'll do is go to blocks first, empty block, and drag in an empty container. I want to make sure I'm in the block level. Let's change the background color to a light blue. Close out of this, and then scroll down, spacing. Adding a padding to all sides. You can enter in the padding number directly like this, or you can slide it across. Now we want to go to elements, drag in a H1 heading inside the container. Click on the heading, head to the styling toolbar. You want to be in text because this is a text element. And the default font here was Poppins because we set it in global site settings, but you can always change it to a different font like Merriweather. Once you start increasing the size, we're at 39 in terms of size. You can also manually enter in the number here for a 50 size font. Weight is whether you want it to be a light font, regular, bold. To change the color of the heading, go to color, click on it, and you can make it a dark navy instead, or head over here. Click on that and enter in your own hex code for the color. Once you've done that, click on the check icon and close out of it. For letter spacing, if you want to make the heading or any font a bit more wider, you can click on that. I'll click on wide to demonstrate. You can see that the heading has expanded a bit. Let's duplicate this so that you can see. And for line height, click on that, make it loose. Now you can see some spacing in between the top and bottom. Stroke width simply adds an outline around your text. If you click on that and add 1 pixel stroke, then you can go to stroke color, add a white outline, and that creates this effect. You can also add shadow. I don't normally add shadows to headlines. What I really want to show you is how to change the text color for a particular word. Let's say that you want to change this Groovepages word into a red font. you would highlight this particular word only. This will pop up. Click on this icon and that can be changed to red. The last thing is to center that particular word by going down here and align it to the center. Okay, uploading images, updating size and centering an image. To upload an image, you would drag in an image element first. So scrolling down, images are under media. Drag in the square image for now, and you want to pop it in the container. Once you click on this, you can tell that the image is inside the container by going to the breadcrumb. Image is inside the container. Click on the image, head over here to configure, select choose image. I'm just going to select this image for example, because I want to show you how to change the size. This image size is quite big, and a way to reduce the image size is to just go into it and update it to a smaller size. Then click on update dimensions. The content save green alert will appear. Once that's been resized, click select. In image alt, give this image a name. For that image, it can link to a page on Groovepages, or your pages that you design on this Groovepages will be available here. You also have the option of linking this image to a block, a URL, a pop-up, your blog, and Groove Cart. All these options available for images and buttons elements for you to configure. Normally for images, you would just leave it at none and click on update. To center align an image as well as the text, you want to be in the container level, and you know that you're in the container level by going to the breadcrumb, making sure that you're in the container level. You can then go over to the styling bar, click on layout, and you want to select vertical, primary, click on this and this. And that's going to center align your image as well as your heading. Next, we want to add a button. Go to elements, it will be under button, drag it in. What we want to do for the button is to give it some spacing. That's the margin, and set it to 40 spacing. Now you want to go to text, increase the font size, and perhaps we'll also change the button font to Poppins as well by going here, clicking on Poppins, make it semi-bold. We'll space it out a bit to make it wide. And for the button color, we'll go to background, click on it, make it a green button. Maybe we'll go back to text and add an outline of black around it. Go to stroke color, add black. You can see the effect here. That's how you edit the button. And lastly, to change the call to action of the button, you will go to configure. Under button main label, you can change that to free download. Add an icon to the button by going here. And because it's set to question mark, I normally do is type in FA, and all these icons will pop up. So let's just scroll down and select this one. Select the size of the icon. I usually leave everything as is. You can see here, like the image element, it can link to a URL, a blog, and your Groove Cart as well. You can also increase the padding within the button by going here to spacing and selecting the padding and increase it to 10. Let's move on to adding a Groove video elements. You'll go here. It will be under media. Drag in video player element. Click on this. Under configure, select video. In the drop down arrow, you can choose from YouTube, Groove Video. In this example, I want to show you Groove Video. And in Groove Video, you can create a category for your video. This video here is in the default category. I've selected my video from the drop down arrow and click on update. So all these settings, including the thumbnail, is controlled over to Groove Video. Another element that you'll most likely be using is Groove Mail. Head to Elements. It will be under Groove Apps, and you can see also that the Groove webinar registration is added as an element in Groovepages. We'll just use Groove Mail. Click on it, go to Configure, and select the Groove Mail form that you've set up in Groove Mail. The thank you page could be a thank you page that you set on Groovepages or another URL. In this example, you want to use a thank you page that you've already created on Groovepages. So you would select page, and we've got a thank you page. Click update. You can change the background color of the button by going to background, clicking here, and changing it to a green. Let's say that you want the placeholder text of email to be email address, and you want the font color to be a lighter gray. All you need to do is click within that input, head down to breadcrumb, You'll notice that you're in input, which is correct. Then you can go to text, go to color, make this a lighter gray. You can see that changing, and go to configure, input placeholder. We're going to add address, add validation rules in that they need to enter in an email and input cannot be empty. Click update. And I've noticed that the padding has decreased. So you go back to design, go to spacing, add some padding over here, and the padding has increased as well. Repeat the same steps for first name. What's important is that in first name, once you've done all your design and styling here, you would go to configure, add validation rules. Because you're asking people to enter in their first name, it will be text, input cannot be empty, click update. I've just showed you how to do this quickly, but once you get used to styling using the design tab, everything will make sense. Now I want to talk about adjusting the gutter width of columns. Go to blocks, empty blocks, and drag in 3 columns. Click on the block level. We are in the block level by going to the breadcrumb. Now we want to go to spacing. Just add some padding in between it for demonstration. Let's set it to 20 and add a background color of yellow. To adjust the width in between these columns, making sure that you're in layout -333 because layout is column, you can head to configure. If you click on the drop down arrow and click on extra large, update, the width between the columns have now increased. And this is useful when you're dragging in text elements and you notice that the text in column 1 and column 2 are too close together. You can fix that by changing the gutter width. One last element I want to show you is changing the container size and width. What I've done is drag in a heading element, a paragraph element, and also an image element. What you notice about this container is that the text expands across the whole screen, and sometimes you want to make the container more narrow. A lot of people would click on the container level, then they'll go to spacing and add the padding like that to make it narrow. That looks fine on desktop. However, when you switch to the mobile screen up top here, you can see that since you added a very big padding, that's reflected on the mobile screen too. A way to fix this is not add a padding. Head back to your desktop screen, making sure you're in the container level. You'd go to size, and instead of decreasing the size of the container, you would go to max width and set it at 60, for example. That would narrow the container, or you can set it at 50. On desktop, you've now got a narrow container, and on mobile, it also looks great as well. Okay guys, that's the core basics of using elements, okay? And there's so many elements that you can use and play around with. One last thing that I did forget to mention is that if you want to move elements up or down, just hover over that particular element, hold on it, and then just drag it down. Let's talk about pop-ups. Pop-ups are ideal when someone clicks on a button and a pop-up like a light box appear. Click on pop-up, click on this plus icon, give your pop-up a name. I'm just going to call it Get Started Button 2. For type, you want that to be set on standard. So you can see here that it's triggered when a user clicks on an element. In this case, when they click on a button. But you've also got the option of having the pop-up appear when someone lands on the page or when someone exits your page. We'll just stick to standard pop-up for a website. Because I want the pop-up to appear on the home page for the Get Started button, I'll click on the drop down, select home. Once you've entered all that, over on the right side is a bunch of templates that you can use for your pop-ups. We'll select the second one. That template will load into this box here. And now's your time to change the heading and add a paragraph. And I would swap this email and this button out with your email marketing responder integration by going to elements. And let's say that you're with ActiveCampaign. ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, GetResponse, any other email marketing responders are down under email integration. I'll drag it in here. Then you can go here and click on this delete to delete the old input field, and you can go ahead and change it to a different font, different background colors for the input field. I actually made a video for ActiveCampaign that shows you how to style your forms as well, and I'll leave a link to that video in the description. I don't want to waste more of your time in showing you how to format your form. But overall, if you're choosing to have a form in your pop-up, what's really important is that you click on ActiveCampaign over here so that the whole form is highlighted. Click on Configure, and that will allow you to select your ActiveCampaign integration, which list you want it to be on, and what happens on the redirect once someone clicks on that submit button. And you can have them redirected to a thank you page on your Groovepages website, or a different URL on your website, or even an affiliate link, and then you click on update. Once you've finished styling your pop-up and your form, you would go up here and click on save and exit. That's really important. Now we're going to go back to the button that we want the pop-up to appear. We'll click on this again, head to the configure button. Under link to, it will be pop-up, but the pop-up we want to select is the second pop-up. For some reason, it didn't save the name of the second pop-up. So I want to head back here into pop-up. Just click on these three dots, rename. If you like to integrate your email marketing service or Zapier or any other integration, head to your avatar or your image up here. Click on My Integrations. I've added in ActiveCampaign, but you'll click on Add. Select the integration type. For Campaign Monitor, you need the API and the client ID. For something like ActiveCampaign, it's the API key and API URL. Whatever option that's listed here, you can add it as an integration. Once you've added it in as an integration, Groovepages will know and would load that integration for you. Most importantly, you go to Elements and drag in the relevant integration that you've connected. In terms of responsive design and mobile optimization, what I normally do is design everything on desktop. Once I've done so, I would go here to the mobile device, click on it, and I want to visually see how it looks like on the mobile. If something looks off, I will toggle this and just be on the mobile device. Whatever styling you do with just the mobile device activated, it will only apply that styling to the mobile device. If you click on the tablet, any formatting and styling that you do over here for the tablet will only apply to the tablet device. So just go through individually to see how each device looks like. When you start your design though, all devices will be activated, and any design that you've created on the desktop will be applied to all devices. I do all the formatting and the responsive design towards the end when everything is completed. Then I'll head to my mobile device, switch this on to make independent changes to the mobile device. In terms of connecting and publishing your site to a custom domain, I've already got a video on that. Just go to my YouTube channel and look for the video Connect Your Custom Domain to Groove June 2021 update. And if you have a WordPress website on your root domain and you want to use Groovepages on a subdomain, the video to watch for that is Connect a Subdomain to Groove via Cloudflare. You now know the core basics of Groovepages, and the videos to watch next is my 20 Groovepages tips and tricks, as well as how to create an opt-in funnel with Groovepages. Just search on my channel using these titles here and you should find it. Bear in mind, these videos are a bit older, so they don't take into consideration of the updated interface as shown in this video, but the principles still apply. Okay guys, if you found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and until next time, see ya!